Hey everybody, late July build update of the South Build here in County Laois, Ireland. Thanks to all the new subscribers. Looked the other day and it was up about 30 subscribers, so thanks very much for that. We'll start on the outside as normal. So we've had unbelievable weather here in Ireland. It's been like 30 degrees for 2 weeks really, and it's only kind of calming down for the last few days. It's a lovely 22 today and cloudy. That's caused me some trouble with certain things here. The new trees, some of them are struggling. There's a hose pipe ban in place as well, so I can't bring down the these really need a hosing, some of these. 1, 2, so I'm going to lose 2 or 3 on this side. It's not too bad. As I said before, I have spares inside on the site. I can replace those out. And the top end of the site, I lost 4 or 5 of them. I'm not sure why that was. It just looks like the ground is not as good up here. These ones here will all come back to life, I suppose. Yeah, I've lost about 7 or 8 of them here in a row, which is unusual, but as I say, I can put in some spare ones. The ones at the end are doing quite well, and I need those because they're filling up a gap that's actually in the ditch there. So they're all good. I'll get them some more farm manure and some water when the ban is over. The ditch then is growing like mad. Had this trimmed back by a company last year just to keep it away from the phone line. So when the guys come along here with the hedge cutter, I'll just get them to run across the top of that. It's all soft growth anyway. I want to try and keep that hedge if I can. If the council makes me take it out, at least I still have the native hornbeam in there. So nothing done at the front here. I am itching to get this covered in 804. I possibly will get a lorry just to back in and let him spread it as he drives out, and be easy enough then to compact that with a whacker. It'll just tidy up the front, make it a bit more comfortable coming in. In my madness, it was so warm the last few weeks, I started cutting through some of the vegetation here on the part of the site for the main house in a couple of years. So in a bulldozer for this, but it really just needs trimming, and there are a bunch of small sapling trees up there. I'll take those out over the winter. I plan to only work for about another 8 weeks on the build this year. Back doing my day job normally then, so anything I do will just be, I would think, outdoors. And I'll get this area sorted in September as well for the golf. Just get the grass sown into it at least this year. And it gives you a bit of a lift as well. There's days when you just feel like you're getting nothing done. Sometimes you get something done and it feels great. So self-build journey is certainly not all up. It can be down, middle and up. So you'd want to be prepared for that. Just before the hosepipe ban, I filled up the IBC tank. This is my line coming in from the mains. I made it long enough to reach the IBC, and we'll get that hooked up into the house whenever it needs to be done. All my stores of sand and gravel have been depleting. I've been working away mostly in the mornings between like 6 and 10, and then at night time because it's been so hot. Mixing cement and everything has been difficult, and I'll show you. We had some concrete delivered during that heat, and they didn't exactly come when I asked them, which caused me trouble, which you'll see. So I have some pea gravel left here for the drainage. I'm definitely putting in a French drain up to the top of the site before the winter comes in. As you saw in previous videos, we put one down by the main house, down by the studio house, and that actually worked pretty well there during March, April when it was soaking wet here. So I'll use all that up next month. That'll clear all this area here. This is where the main house is going actually. So actually hoping to start the foundation on that end of 2027, early 2028. This is my fine sand for the blocks. Beautiful stuff here from Boots. Had absolutely no trouble with it. No stones in it whatsoever. I keep that covered like the gods. It's expensive stuff. This is ballast here. It's a mix of sharp sand and ballast. This is for flooring the shed. and I would think some of the footpath can probably be done from that as well. And we'll probably use a lot of that on the shed in a couple of months. So we'll see how that goes. I might use it for footpath around the shed as well. See a spare bag of cement there. Didn't know that was there, so that's a freebie. Other than that, tidied up again around the place. I'm trying to remember what was in the last video. It was all insulation here, I think, and rebar and stuff. So that's all gone into the foundation now, you'll see in a second. So I have some Unilin left over here, it's PIR. That's 25mm. I'll double that up and use it in the door detail to insulate the threshold of the door. But it will be nice to get back all this area here that was covered in recycled concrete chips. This is all the timber left over from farm work, shuttering, stuff like that. So that stays on site really forever until we're finished the main house and the garden is done. Never throw away stuff like that. You'll need it. There's actually a small piece of rebar there as well left over, 6mm. And I suspect a footpath at the front of the shed in case I have something heavy I want to roll out a generator or whatever. So that's that there. I've been through 3 IBCs before the heat wave, so that has come in very handy. That's on the move, that's getting moved back to the back of the site once that amount of water there is empty. Should have enough there to last me for block work until the hosepipe ban is over in 3 or 4 weeks. This messy old area here, these things happen when you're building. An area has to kind of get destroyed with crap, so that's just some stuff that was dug out of the shed base, I think. I can't remember. So we'll clean that up all eventually. The plan really is, like, the main house is here. There's going to be a patio here. The main steel garage is here. We'll have a look at that. I've changed my mind all about the back area here. It was going to be a yard, but other than a clothesline maybe up at the back, I'm going to have a view of this out through my bedroom window. So I want to really have that as a nice garden, I suppose, wildflowers, that kind of thing. And it has lovely shelter here from the hedge as well, so it's somewhere you could sit out. There is a main road behind that ditch. The cars slow down for the bend that's there. You can hear this car here. So the slow down begins well before that. So it's never that noisy really. Generator has been working well. I gave that a service. So they say after the first, can't remember now, was it 10 hours, change out the oil. So I did. And the oil was really dark. So now it's nice and clear again, and it's running really sweet, very economical on the petrol as well. Take the keys out. You can see here I have a winch built into the trailer, and basically what I do is turn on the generator, plug the winch into the generator and use the winch to pull the generator up and down. So lazy man's idea. Cement mixer's been going well. These are Victor cement mixers. Kind of sad I didn't keep it a lot cleaner along the way, but you waste a lot of time with that. We'll give it a good clean when I'm finished with the studio. Runs very smoothly and mixes very well. I don't think this was done in the last video. The form work was there. So I had this delivered on the morning. It was a 30-degree day, and I asked them to be here at 7:30 and they agreed. Didn't show up till 9 o'clock, and I was kind of getting a bad idea about sending them back with it because stuff will go off so quick in the heat. But he wetted it up a bit and we let it flow around, and it dried so quick it was scary. So I didn't even get a chance to, it's not really important, but didn't get a chance to smoothen it out. I'd like to have smoothened it out. I managed to get a trowel around the edge. The Steel Tech guys are putting the shed on there. End of September was the last email I got about that. So it's pretty square, it's perfectly level. We put the laser on it. All that rough concrete doesn't bother me in a way, because when the floor is poured in, the floor is going to go in over the insulation here and the rebar. It's going to come up a couple of inches there into the shed, and I can mix that myself and have it nice and smooth. and I'm also probably going to put a half-inch layer of resin as the floor in the shed. I actually love resin floors, and they give you a great workspace. Very tough and durable as well. Here is my, this is interesting actually. This is a copper rod that I had in the ground for earthing the generator, and we came back last week to move it back here to where we are kind of using the generator more, and it was fried. So we don't know whether it got hit by lightning. We had a couple of lightning storms, or whether it's just corrosion from the air. But the bar went in perfectly straight, and it was bent as well on the ground, and never got hit by trailer, car, trucks or anything. It was well out of the way. So my kids think it was hit by lightning, so I'll leave them thinking that. I'm not so sure. Yeah, so that shed base is fantastic. 6 metre by 3 metre. Have our conduit here for the electricity. I cut it pretty tight, but I contacted the Steel Tech guys and they said it's in far enough. So worst comes to the worst, we can cut it anyway. It's not a big deal. So I have a little bit of hardcore on the edge here. I eventually want to put a small footpath around it, and kind of a 2 metre concrete pad out the front door here. The land does fall away quite sharply from this. That all has to be built up with subsoil and 804 and that, so that will come up pretty level to the shed next year or never. So I have a lot done on the studio itself. So just trying to think back to where we were. I have the rising wall finished obviously, and that's all infilled. I did that with the mixer, and we have a slope on that there, just to let any water fall down to the outside. There is about 400 mil of 804 hardcore, 40 mil of sand blinding. I have a double radon barrier, a full radon barrier all over the blinding, up over the inner leaf. The inner leaf is aerated block. You can see the colour of it there. Very lightweight blocks, about half the weight of the normal block. So I have 2 layers of those. The door detail started there as well. On top of that we have 150 mil of the PIR insulation. That's all sealed with aluminium tape. I have 6 mil rebar at a depth of 50 mil from the bottom of 150 mil concrete slab. Again, the guys poured this very hot weather, and it was going off pretty quick. I wasn't obsessed with getting it smooth. Managed to get it reasonably level. There's a 40 mil screed going in on top of that, and there might be maybe 10-15 millimeter difference in the level of what you see there, so that'll be easy enough to level off. I know some people are obsessed about their concrete being always perfect, but when you're screeding it, doesn't matter. So there is the main studio doors. I have a couple of layers of the inner leaf done that side. We'll get the other ones done later on today. I need 1500 blocks to finish the studio, so I have 500 here. That'll get me a third of the way up, and then we'll get in another 2 sets of 500. These are great blocks. I get these from Boots down in Laois. The guys are fantastic. I don't know how they get through the gate with the lorries, but they do. So over the insulation, it's important to cover it with damp-proof membrane as well. Some people don't do that, but the foil interacts with the concrete and it actually wears away and eats into the PIR. So you won't lose strength in your floor, but you'll lose thermal efficiency. You won't be hitting your U value targets. So this layer of DPM, which goes to the outer leaf, that's covering the insulation, comes up the inner leaf and back out here to the outside. That's gas tape sealed to the radon barrier as well. So You can't perfectly seal against radon, but you know, as best you can. Here is the main side door. They'll be kind of like patio doors, garage doors eventually if I change it back to a garage, which I'm supposed to. Yes, that's really the first look at the door. Because it's a very wet area of land, as I said before, I've lifted up the whole floor an extra block than possibly what would be normal here. The main house is much different. It's on flatter land, slightly drier land down there. This gets an awful lot of water through, so we're putting a French drain at the back of that. We have a French drain in here already to the left, just there. But in my thinking earlier on this, I knew the floor would be very high compared to the ground out here. So I'm going to build beautiful timber decking here. It'll stretch from my bedroom window back here all the way across to the door. I'll have a decking out either this side or the back side, just for the lovely evening barbecues or whatever. And I'll deck all the way back across the front of it here. And I'll also deck about halfway back around on the right hand side. There's loads of space here to put in a driveway, so the size of the deck, I'll probably go 1 meter to 1.2 meters. And I'll bring that back to about here. So you can see how uneven the ground is there. That's the natural ground back there without the topsoil. It drops all the way down a good bit down here. So levelling was very important on this. I had the laser level out this morning, and the tops of these courses here are within 2 millimeters, which is very good on that type of size. So we have the service pipe here for water, possibly electric heading out to that pipe to the main house in time. The ESP box is going on to the studio here, not the main house. So I've kind of run through all that with the electrician. We can also bring a wire from here over to the shed for power. But we are looking at going off grid here, so even though we will have the infrastructure for ESB, the box and the conduit and all that stuff, there's the hockey stick for it. The shed, the septic tank system, they're going to be running off their own solar. There'll be solar on the roof of that shed. That's going to run the septic tank and whatever power needed in the shed. That's going on a 6,000 battery from Anchor. We're also looking at the Deltec 3 for that as well, if people know about those systems. So sills are here ready to go. I need to cut those with the Consew. I ordered standard size sills for the windows, and when the guys delivered these, I came in the next day and found these ones left here, and they're all quite a bit too big. So better big than small, I guess, but it just means I have to cut off, as you can see, bits and pieces here. So there'll be 3 windows along the side, a bathroom window here, the young fella's bedroom window there, and then there's the kitchen window down there. So we've the toilet pipes in here. I'm only after realising that didn't actually set in straight, but it's not a big problem. Yeah, so the sewage is going to come out here around this side of the building. It's going to run down left hand side here and then head on over to the septic tank. That's our radon system. So that goes into the sump. You'll see that in earlier videos. This part here, that goes down level with the footpath. Yeah, so there will be a footpath on the back here, and all the way around to wherever the decking is going to start. Probably have to run the footpath all the way down there, but that's okay. You can see I do a lot of thinking as I go. Yeah, so that goes level with the footpath, and then we hook up a pipe vertically up the wall with a suction fan to suck out. Basically creates negative pressure under the floor, and the radon gets sucked in there. Yeah, so definitely seal up all your pipes. You don't want stuff getting in there and causing you hassle later on. So that is about it. This is where the drain is going. I've got to put in an ESB line actually from that pole 45 degrees across that garden down to a depth of 600, covered with electrical warning tape. And I've marked out here in blue where the drain is coming. That's going to cut across into the middle of the yard here, down to the road drain, and that goes in after the ESB because that's actually not going down very deep. If you're putting in French drains, don't go below 2 feet. They just don't work. There's a reason they're shallow. You can always get to them then to service them as well. Yeah, so I think that's going to be a beautiful little garden there. Clothesline probably down the back, and there'll be a shed for the boat and stuff down there. Yeah, so I'm going to crack on today with the inner leaf, getting all the way around. Already just 2 courses up from the floor. I have to allow for windows. We have long windows which go most of the height of the vertical walls, so have to be mindful of that. And then we'll get on to putting the outer leaf on over the weekend. Of course, I tore a few bits of the barrier. I've seen people do those up with duct tape, and I don't know if you can see that. I've seen people do those up with duct tape, but that ain't the right way. Get yourself some Radex. You might have some Radon tape left over from doing the Radon barrier, and make sure it's sealed up with that, and roll it with a roller as well. The Radex tape doesn't really work well unless you roll it. It's got to be compressed. And there's backing tape on that there. Don't pull that off this side because that's just, everything's going to stick to it. So that's it. This weekend for doing the outer leaf. I'm not a huge fan of the block laying around the DPC layers. It's just so slow. You've got a mortar underneath it, not too thickly, just enough to get a wee bit of a bond. You've got a mortar on top then for the block. Lots of wall ties down around this part of the building because you potentially have slip planes. There's some DPC here as well. I always put DPC between DPM and blocks as well. And so all these do create slip planes, but the weight of your building and the wall ties will mean they never go anywhere. So don't be afraid to put in your DPC on top of your DPM. Just use a bit of mortar around it. So that's about it. Using standard block leveling lines. A small bit of pointing there for doing those two because I ran out of mortar. But progress is good. Always keep the tools clean as well. I'll come back this evening and get the inner leaf done, and then weekend I'll have some updates on the YouTube shorts in relation to the outer leaf. This is a nice part of the build. Block work from this stage up usually goes pretty quick. It's very rewarding as well, and you can get a bit frustrated self-building because you're what we call in the ground so long, clearing your site, digging foundations, rising walls, infill. You would think insulation and radon barriers and that would be done very quickly, but they take days. You've got to take your time with them. Yeah, so I'm going to finish with these 500 blocks. I'm going to screed the floor then, and we'll have the shed in probably in a couple of weeks time as well, a couple of months time. Delivery time on sheds are slow. Done a bit of tidying here, so I need to get rid of all this rubble out to the dump. And other than that, slow progress, building on my own, getting help where I can. It's really enjoyable and I highly recommend it. I like to think every block I lay is, it's getting closer to the finish. Don't be afraid to make mistakes as well. Like, nothing is 1000% perfect here, but it's as level as the level says it is, and it's done to building regulations. And so just do your best with it. Try not get disheartened if you're doing your own. Any questions, throw them into the comment section, and please share if you have friends interested in self-building. I've had a few people drop into me here actually who are thinking of buying cabins because the laws in Ireland are relaxing next month. You can build up to 45 square meters, and you know, they're getting quotes for €100,000 for 45 square meter cabins fully finished. They're getting quotes for 50 grand just for the cabins themselves. To me, it's expensive for what you're getting. They have a lot of maintenance over their lifetime. Block to me is just better, and if you can just have a go building it yourself, you're going to save 50-60 grand even on a small build like that. I'm figuring that materials for this are costing me in around €35,000, even in the modern expensive times, as I say. But it's the labour that's going to really get you into mortgage trouble. And generally with a build like this, you can only build as fast as probably what you're earning, so you don't really need a mortgage for it. Just take your time. Okay, any questions from self-builders, ask away. And thanks for watching. Please share with your friends, as I said, and we'll see you next month. Take care.